Good morning and welcome to our ASTE Connect, or actually today is Cafe ASTE. We're going to recap Control-Alt+EDU. We have some special guests. My name is Melody McAllister. I am the director of ASTE. I'm here with my good friend Anthony White, who is the president of our ASTE board. And we just came off a wonderful last weekend and partially this week of our ASTE 2026. Anthony, how are you doing this morning?
Doing fantastic. I think I've caught up. On sleep. I think.
I have definitely not caught up on sleep at all. But I've tried. I just have a really hard time with it. But yeah, so it does. It takes a lot out of you. You get recharged, but also there's that tired because it's nonstop. It's wonderful. If you are joining in, whether this is live or after the live stream ends, we want to hear your thoughts. If you are able to tune in while we are doing this live, definitely comment and let us know how ASTE was for you. If you were able to make it, what were your favorite parts? Anything that you want to share about ASTE, we'll put it on the screen because we definitely want to hear from you. We have some special guests coming up. We're so excited.
Awesome.
But yeah, before we have those special guests come up, Anthony, you were the president. This was kind of like, you thought of Control-Alt+EDU. This was your theme. Tell us a little bit about that and kind of like what you thought when you were brainstorming it and how you feel as it ended.
I think the idea behind it, as I use computers a lot, is that Control-Alt+Delete allows you to kind of pull up the system settings and do a lot of things. You can end processes that aren't working anymore. You could restart processes that aren't working anymore. You could restart the computer. You could hibernate. A lot of powerful options when you hit Control-Alt+Delete. And that was kind of the idea behind the theme. So with education, we're kind of resetting a lot of things. Like AI has definitely made a lot of changes for education, and Control-Alt+EDU allows us to figure out ways to integrate or responsibly utilize these technologies in our classroom, and felt it was appropriate for the combination between technology and education, and we're all click-clacking on keyboards all day long. And yeah, I thought it was overall just a fantastic conference, as always. Really wonderful to see everyone there, and that rejuvenating experience of sharing ideas, knowledge, wisdom with each other.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you for sharing about that. And also, before we bring up, I mean, well, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. Actually, I'm going to slow down. I actually loved your theme, and I did think that it offered so much about rethinking about what we do. So thank you for having that vision. And I love that the way a lot of our presenters, especially kind of adopted that into their sessions. I thought that was wonderful to see as well. So thank you for that. I am getting excited because we have so many friends that are coming up. But I do want to also ask you, you said that the CEU timeline is for 2 weeks. So those of you who are applying to DEED for a CEU, can you tell us just a little bit about that, Anthony?
Yeah, so the deadline started from the end of the ASTE conference. So it would be March 2nd for you to submit to the form that's on our webpage. And I think I put the link in the chat if you want to add that somewhere. But it's on our website, continuing education units. You could earn one CEU. That's for folks who are looking to renew their certificate. It's an alternative to the credit option. You cannot use the credit option in combination with the CEU, but simply just track your hours. Tell us what you learned in your sessions and what you have taken away from the ASTE conference. And then at DEED, they'll review those and issue you a certificate. And when you go to renew your license, and of course, this is cannot be used for initial teaching certificate or a first professional certificate. But if you're like me and you're just renewing that certificate after X many years, you could use those CEUs. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me, anthony.white@aste.org, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Anthony. You've really brought a lot of wonderful changes to ASTE, and this has been a couple of awesome years. You're going to be president for one more year. So I can't wait to see what happens next year. But before we get what I say to my class, but, and I mean, and they say a big but, we still have like so much reflection to do. And we want to talk about this year before we get to next year. Thank you for bringing CEUs to ASTE. This is such a wonderful opportunity for our educators. All right. Are you ready for our first guest?
Yes, bring them on.
Okay, I'm going to bring them up. I'm going to bring our keynotes, Yaritza and Ann, up here. All right. Good morning, Yaritza and Ann. How are y'all doing?
Good afternoon from New York. I'm okay. We're dealing with a snowstorm that's going to turn into a blizzard tonight. So my mind is on getting ready for this storm. But how's everyone?
Better than that. I was like, we're not having a snowstorm here in Alaska, although last weekend that was a different case. But I hope that you are safe, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I'm bookending her over on the West Coast in California, so sending good vibes, Yaritza. I know that blizzard is coming, but I'm looking outside and seeing sunshine and feeling a little bit guilty.
I'm so sorry you got to deal with that, 70, 75 degree weather there in South Carolina. Brutal.
Yeah, it's the best. All right, tell us a little bit about your, like, just, how was it your first time at ASTE? What did you think? And then we'll keep bringing on our guests. We want to hear just a little snippet from you before we keep bringing people up.
Ann, do you want to go first?
You, my friend, you kick it off.
This is actually my second ASTE. I was the closing keynote for ASTE 2024. And since then, I've been bragging about ASTE. Shout outs to Laura for introducing me to the ASTE community. We talk all the time, and she's just like, you have to find other ways to get back to Alaska. But what's so... I guess what keeps bringing me back is just the community, the people. I have authentic conversations with educators at ASTE, which you don't normally get at conferences. Normally people are on the go and don't have that much time to stop and have conversations about issues, challenges, but also exciting things like new ideas and creativity. So definitely this is my second ASTE, but it's not my last.
Awesome. I love that. Yes, we have lots of ideas to talk about next year. And yes, it was your first year though.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It was my first one. I know you probably heard me say this about 5 times last week. I've been trying to get up to Alaska since 2018. It finally happened. I have been watching ASTE from the sidelines for a long time, and when Yaritza approached me with the opportunity to co-keynote, y'all know I jumped at it and said yes, and I'm so glad everything aligned this year in order to get up to Anchorage. And it was a dynamic experience, and I loved getting to be a part of ASTE in such a special way, but also getting to better know folks in the community, spend time with folks I already knew in the community, meet new people. It was a small but mighty conference that I hope becomes a regular in my yearly rotation. So it was a dynamic event.
Thank you. I hope it does too. I love that. Yes, let's make it a regular. All right, we have so much to talk about. I'm going to bring up our next guest, Linda Stewart. Okay, Linda, are you ready? I just brought you up, surprised you.
Hello, everyone, and a happy Sunday from the Georgia Peaches or the Georgia Girls. This is my 3rd year at ASTE, and it's been fabulous. As a matter of fact, I brought some of my colleagues with me this year, and their comment was, I see why you love this conference so much. So it was a really great experience. We learned a lot of things. There's a lot of the tech things. They're doing a lot of tech things in Atlanta as well, but it's what you all put together and present. It feels different. The information feels different. And we learn a lot of things there, and we're happy to present when we're in ASTE, and we look forward to coming back even more. I like the connectedness of the conference. It feels like home when you're there. There are many sessions, but it doesn't feel I don't feel like I'm somewhere where I don't know anyone, where I can't connect to anyone. So that's a really good thing, and that's how my friends and colleagues felt when they came down to Alaska, as well as we got to enjoy a little more of Anchorage and some of the outskirts of Anchorage this year. So that was a big plus. So look for us. I'm still out recruiting. Our STEM coordinator came in and presented virtually with us. She loves the conference as well, and we keep advocating in the DeKalb County School District in Georgia, ASTE as a place to go to learn through education and technology. So, hey, it's a kudos for us.
I love that, Linda. Linda, that is so cool. I mean, I love that you're able to learn in Alaska and take it back to DeKalb County in Georgia, and it really makes sense for you guys. Like, we're going to have lots of talks after this, but that is so cool.
Yes.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for bringing your friends. It was great to meet all of you guys. And yes, and also for me, I'm starting to learn like all the names that we email everybody. Like, I'm putting names and faces together. And so now you are in my mind. I know who Linda Stewart, all your emails, I know who Linda is. So I love it. I love it. All right. Our next guests, actually our next guests are Sean Taylor and Jeff Abbott, two of our sponsors from STS Education and Samsung. How are you guys doing today? And tell us a little bit about your ASTE experience.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to bookend this for all your history at ASTE there, Sean. So yeah, I'll go first as the rookie. This was my first year at ASTE, my second time to Anchorage, first time in the deep winter in Anchorage. That was definitely an experience I finally thought out just about 4 hours ago. It was incredible. The one big takeaway I got is just how close of a community it is up there in Anchorage, bringing everybody in across the state, and it's still a community full of just like-minded and capable people. I really, really enjoyed it. I will definitely be coming back as long as Sean will bring me.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're glad to have you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.
Yeah, so Sean Taylor, Director of Sales from STS. It's either 6 or 7. Really. I think I missed 1 year in between. There, it's just amazing every time to come up. And I think the big difference of returning to ASTE is that, Jeff, you get to know that community even more, right? And it may be only once a year that I see all these folks and that we're together in one place. But everyone comes back together. Everyone knows they're going to do the penguin dance. Everyone knows they might hear Caroline and things like that. But just, I think the togetherness is just so important. And, you know, as a vendor at the conference, it's even more important to us to be able to say, hey, yes, we are still supporting, and that people actually know what we do now. It's not just a one-stop shop. Oh, I want to show you something. It actually becomes part of, you know, kind of our daily routine from a sales perspective as well. So it was so much fun. I just had such a blast, and we did manage to go out. We got to see the Northern Lights. We got to the, you know, conservation center, and you know, that was definitely a first for Jeff and some of the folks that were with us as well. So always a blast.
Yeah, you guys took some amazing pictures. And I got to just say that had Sean not said, I really, really want to do this again, because we did this last year where we kind of did a recap. I want to give him a lot of credit, because it was, thank you, because otherwise we probably wouldn't be doing this. I would probably be sleeping today. But yes, and it was you guys were a great addition. We're glad you came. Wonderful. Okay, next guest, let's see, is Mark. So many people I got to pull. There's Mark. Oh, there we go.
Hey everyone, nice to see everyone again.
It's nice to see you too, Mark. Tell us a little bit, like what was your ASTE experience like? First year, right?
It's awesome. It's my first time to Alaska, first time to Anchorage, and to be honest, such a fantastic experience. I felt just like a friend that was welcomed in by everyone that you know, kind of long lost friend, and that experience was for me. As a first-time vendor there at Sprig Learning, we really just were welcomed like an old friend. And so what I found was that if someone couldn't help me in that moment, they knew someone that could. And so there was always someone kind of trying to help out, to connect me with someone that could support the work that we're trying to do. And to be honest, it was just an eye-opening experience, a great experience, and something that I've been raving about. I've been telling all my friends about it, how awesome Anchorage is. I've been telling my friends about how awesome the people in Anchorage are and the people that were at this conference. It was just so great to be at ASTE and representing Sprig and trying to move along some of the cool work that we're trying to do there in support of the local communities and support of the educators and the students there.
Yeah, and you know that was it Antler? What was the moose called?
Underlay. Yeah, Underlay. I actually have one right here. Yeah.
Whoa, wait, what? What is his name?
Underlay.
Underlay?
Yeah. There he is.
There we go. He was a hit. I'm sorry that I
absolutely was a hit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it was so great.
Yes, we loved having you. All right, and we're so glad you came. And our last guest, we're bringing him to the stage. Olu, how are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Can everyone hear me pretty well? Just want to make sure. Yes. So I had a great time at ASTE, and I just first want to say, hey, thank you, Anthony, for introducing me. I remember meeting him, I believe, at the CTE conference. He was like, hey, look, I think you should come to this conference, and I'm going to connect you with Melody. And ever since I met Melody, and yes, I'm at brunch, unfortunately. I just finished running and came over to the hotel next to my house. But yes, I met Melanie, and I felt like we've known each other forever. And so, you know, that just speaks to the just the community that Anchorage, specifically ASTE, brought to me. And, you know, just to share some more about my experience, just the intentionality to be able to connect with the teachers, the leaders, and other vendors as well. You know, I've been coming to Anchorage for the last 3 years, different conferences here and there. But I must say, this was definitely the best experience for sure. My colleague, Jeff, that was there, that everyone saw me with, if you were to just kind of hear some of the conversations that him and I had, he made a couple statements around like, hey, you know, just seeing how we all interact and how people have been interacting with you, you would think that you have been here for years. And so many of you I just met. And so, again, that just speaks to the relationship and the opportunity that I have. So I just want to say thank you, Melody, and thank you, Anthony.
Thank you. The words that I keep hearing, community and, you know, connections, like this is really filling my heart up. So thank you, because like, you know how you can be in education. How many of you guys are educators? Like, even if you're a sponsor, you know what it's like to be in the classroom, right? Like you can spin your wheels trying to do a plan, but you just never know how it's going to be received. And so thank you, because that connection and that community aspect is literally what Anthony and I, we talk about, and we just try to put into action, and the board. So wonderful. All right. Well, we're glad you guys are here. Let's get this conversation going. Also, if you are watching live, make sure that you just put some comments in there. Tell us what your favorite parts about ASTE were as well. If you catch this after the live stream is over, still do it, because we'll see all the comments. All right. The first thing up, just, you know, you guys have kind of already talked about it a little bit, but what are you can even tell me about your favorite sessions that you thought, or reflective thoughts of, you know, about the Alaskan ed tech scene. Would love to hear those thoughts from you guys. Anybody can go first.
I'll break the ice. So I'll say, and I've probably mentioned this a couple times, my favorite session was with, I think her name is it Heather Baker from Kenai Peninsula? Yes, Heather Baker from Kenai Peninsula. She talked about how she was using AI in the classroom. And, you know, I like to consider myself a tech guy. Like, I love all tech gadgets. I like understanding how technology works, the good and the bad. And sometimes understanding how behaviorism is kind of developed within how we use technology. And so in her classrooms, she had students that were reading particular text, but trying to identify the mood of the text, which is a skill in ELA. And I think it's important as far as a social skill, just knowing how to read the room and understand how people feel around you. And so what she had her students doing was being able to create lyrics and also create instrumentals that align with the mood. And I just found that to be super creative because, you know, not being an ELA person, I was a math and science teacher, you know, I just never heard anything like that. And so, like I was telling so many people, if we were to play some of these tracks on Spotify and Apple Tunes, I promise you that there would be some streams. there would definitely be some strings because the quality of the production of some of the songs and lyrics were that good. And so shout out to Kenai Peninsula. Shout out to Heather. That was super creative. I can see how students are really enjoying her class. And that's just something that I want to continue to promote and elevate to different school districts across the country.
All right. Yeah, that's amazing. Heather also at the IDITA contest. So she really, yeah, she's an amazing educator. All right. What anybody, I'll say, you know, my, the keynote, the opening keynote for me was like, it made me get real vulnerable, and I like had tears in my eyes. I looked at Sean at one point, and we like caught eyes, and I'm like, "Don't look at me right now, Sean. Like I have all these tears in my eyes." No, I'm just joking. But yeah, like one of you guys asked, like, how do you feel seen? There was a few of us at our table, and we're like, what does that even mean? Where do we feel seen? You know? And then you came over, Anne, and you're like, well, what like makes you feel like that brings you the most joy? And it was such a great question. It was such a deep question. And I'm used to being able to just like say anything like right in the moment, you know, whatever I need to do. And it really caused me to just think deeply. And I have to say that what makes me feel seen and what brings me the most joy in my classroom is like we sing all the time. And like you were saying, Olu, like the music, you know, we use a lot of vocabulary, but we also a lot of contemporary music. And the funny thing is, you guys, the remix, my whole classroom is 80s theme, cassettes, you know, all of that. They know Venus, for crying out loud. They know the most ridiculous 80s music. And I will say, but listening to them sing, like I'll get it going and I'll sing with them, but then just listening to my second and third graders sing is really powerful. And it makes me realize that like they're soaking everything up. And then watching them put like lyrics like To Lean on Me, that's a song that we sing every day. I call it our sacred time before we leave school. I'm like, don't talk, this is our sacred time. And but watching them put those things into action is what brings me the most joy. And I loved being able to reflect on that with your opening keynote. It was the most powerful way to like open up our conference. So yeah, I couldn't say enough about that.
Oh, thank you for those words. I just wanted to say too, when you asked about like, how could you reframe that question? Like, when was the last time you felt seen? Somebody said, how would I ask that question to young students? And, you know, I mentioned many times, I'm a former first grade teacher. And so it was just like, when do you feel the most you? Or when did you feel the most happy? Or when was a moment that, you know, you could feel something in your heart? And even talking with the youngest students about that, but these are conversations Yaritza and I have had as friends and as colleagues for years and years and years. And I used that phrase, broadening hearts and minds. And so we knew we had an opportunity to help set the tone for the conference going forward, for people to feel open to the learning experiences, open to the connections, open to the, hey, I want to sit in this reflective moment and consider where I am in this space, but also knowing Alaska is this beautifully diverse community with rich ancestral wisdom and the lessons of folks that have come before, how that still shows up every day in our classrooms and in our communities. The CTRL+ALT+EDU, we're all in this collective space and time of seeing how can we remix this for the better. And so that was a really like out there idea that she and I were like, let's try this thing where we actually have people take a moment and do this. And, you know, whether it was going to be standing up and moving around the room or just kind of having conversations at your table, I think it led to a really vulnerable moment for a lot of people to just sit in that reflection, but also prepare themselves for 3 awesome days of learning and considering something new or something next for how they can remix their practice as an educator or what that could look like in their classroom. So it was a super great experience for us. I'm just honored that we got to share the stage as friends and people who like believe in supporting other educators to consider next possibilities, you know?
I
I can
second.
jump in. No, Yaritza, you go.
I'm going to keep this really simple. I enjoyed the speed dating with the exhibitors. I've been at conferences around the world, and I can just in one hand, count how many times exhibitors or vendors have been given the opportunity to have direct conversations with educators, or educators are encouraged to go to the booths beyond collecting swag for their students or their schools. This was also the first time where I can walk with a group of educators and listen in on the questions that they're actually asking the exhibitors. As a person that was an educator for over 13 years and now a vendor, I'm able to really listen in to what is most important. And most of the questions was about communication, professional development. Accessibility came up a lot, but now it had my wheels turned into, okay, so what are some things that, you know, the educators in ASTE need, or what are some things that ASTE could provide to the educators, and that be that buffer between the exhibitors and the educators. So that was my wow moment. And even when you guys did it for day 2, I wasn't tired of it, because it was just like, this is necessary, and the educators are really much involved.
Perfect. That's a great segue for me there, because as a vendor, it's always nice. We've all been at conferences where you're kind of ignored, shall we say, or then they just want some pens or things like that. But there was, again, like, I think intentionality is another word here. And Mark, don't worry, I'm not going to mention hockey. I'm going to keep that on the lowdown just for a second right now. But, you know, having people come around and have genuine conversations, you know, even from being in a sales aspect, in a role that, you know, where we are selling people. But me and Jeff were reflecting, and it was actually trying to like help people. People were like, how do I get this technology here? And how do we keep the cost down? And we had a lot of really, really good conversations with people about how we can make that happen with some of the bulk buys and things like that we do, but also buying technology back from people. It was just amazing to have the speed dating session. So thank you for facilitating that. We actually stayed and we watched the Ciccolini session, and it was just amazing. And I think, Anthony, one of my big reflections to that was seeing your kids. Your kids they were at their table at first. They were on kind of like a device or an iPad or something. And then all of a sudden this Ciccolini session started, and the devices went away, and they were just absorbed in this whole nature of storytelling. And we couldn't stay for the whole thing, but I was just blown away by, you know, how something that was, you know, cartoon like just came to life, and the storytelling aspect of it was just amazing. And then I think just the other thing that ASTE brings is after the event, we had prom, which was great. And I want to give a big shout out to the Alaska escape rooms, which was just amazing. We got a chance to, you know, put tools down for a second, get locked in a room with 12 different people we didn't even know, which was great, and just have genuine conversations. And it was really great even learning a bit more about Jeff. He's very good at escape rooms. I learned from that, but also just to be able to reflect and talk to people in different ways. And it didn't stop there. Kind of the ASTE party still continued, going to the Broken Blender and then followed by the Pioneer Bar. It was just, again, I think the connections that were brought together. And that wasn't like I know the escape room is planned, but the other things of just people coming together and talking education it's just amazing.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep going off that, because, you know, we're not talking about hockey right now, but to be honest, you know, when I think about that event, I think about the conversation. That's my best part, is those conversations we're having, the one-to-one. You know, it's Melody really that got me from our, you know, Ottawa, Canada, up to you in Anchorage, and it's those one-to-one conversations that really I think most fondly about, and also I think that those are the conversations that are going to be lasting and have the impact. And I think that's where that started. That's where that conversation began. And that's where we are now. And it could be 5 years down the road. It could be next year. You know, it's somewhere I want to keep coming back to. And I think about conversations with, like, for example, Cheryl Bobo, and just like thinking about, you know, the work that she was doing, how much I admire that, and how much we can sync up, you know, and we're trying to do the similar work, and the work that we want to do is powerful, and the work that we can do in Anchorage, I think, and beyond across Alaska, it really starts at ASTE. I think that's where it starts for us at Sprague Learning, and I think that's where it starts for many people. That's why people keep coming back. There's something in the water there. There's something like going on at the with the community that I was, you know, privileged to, and it's something that I'll hold dear with me, and definitely want to be coming back next time around to see all of you, hopefully, and meet more new incredible people.
Yeah, that's great. And we could potentially have it in the fall or summer. It would be a fantastic time, but it's super busy in Alaska.
Right.
And Not sure you want to go. Dead of winter is the perfect time to come to Alaska, honestly. And only the bravest would decide to come from Georgia all the way to Alaska for the sake of connection, which is amazing. And I love that so much. And I hope that spreads throughout the country, the world, and more people go, oh, what is this ASTE I hear about? It sounds like the coolest place ever. One thing that I really enjoyed, so I had every intention, I signed up for all these sessions for ASTE, and I'm like, I'm going to go to all these, and then it just didn't happen because there's just too many other logistics going on. I did pop into a few of them though, and one was with one of our sponsors, the UAA School of Education, and Dr. Doucet, and her session, which was really phenomenal. And I just love the fact that we're now able to connect more strongly with the university system. There's a lot of research happening with technology and education, especially at UAA. And to have Dr. Doucet and Dr. Mock join us from the College of Engineering, I think speaks to the trajectory forward, which is continued collaboration and innovation. I'm really excited for that. And then I'm also really enjoyed having the T3 Alaska there, and that was the other session that I was able to connect with. And the T3 had a pre-conference of educators who they're training them how to use technology in their classroom, providing them with equipment and materials. They take it back to their communities, and they engage students with hands-on, real-world, community-based instruction that's aligned to micro-credentials. And all of that is tied in with the University of Alaska Fairbanks. So these connections just grow stronger and stronger. And really what you've experienced as folks who live outside of Alaska, this is inherent within Alaska. Like, we're all in this together, and it's just a beautiful thing to witness.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm not on mute. Okay. That's awesome. And we've kind of like gone into the next, like kind of the next conversational topic or whatever. There were a lot of events that were happening. You just talked about the T3. The T3 Summit was coming. I'm hoping this next year that we can have like a pre-ASTE event with, we've got a couple events happening in Anchorage to bring more people. But I love that you guys love the vendor speed dating. I have ideas next year also to make that a little bit more exciting. I'm always thinking, my wheels are always turning. Were there any other events, and then of course the Alaska Escape Rooms, shout out to Graham Dieschel. Seriously, he's just a major support of ASTE. And we're so glad to have him. What did you guys think about prom? I mean, I know the penguin dance about put me out of a heart attack, but what did you guys think about prom, or was there anything else that, when we think about like the IDITA Awards and the breakfast, that really stood out to you?
I'll say something too. As somebody who came from out of state, to get to sit and witness the awards ceremony at the IDITA breakfast too, it was so special to hear about the phenomenal, whether it was years of service for folks on the board or the educators in the community. But I want to shout out the student awards that you gave out and calling out young change makers in the community. That was really special. And there was a moment, one of the moms and educators in the room came up with her son on FaceTime because he wasn't able to be there. But the other young folks that they were being called out for phenomenal work and what they're doing in their community, I thought that was so special. And so shout out to y'all for recognizing the young people in the community who are doing things. And a quick hard pivot from that. Now I know what the penguin dance is, and I will participate next time. But Mel, yep, I think I tapped out about 3/4 of the way through because I was like, I just can't go anymore.
I mean, did you make that up, Sean? That's like, I don't really believe in the afterlife, hell, but that was kind of like 5 minutes of just pure hell for me. But are you the creator of that dance?
No, it's a thing. I was when I used to DJ. It was
a real thing.
It was from a different country. I very, very popular in like Saudi Arabia and Egypt. And yeah, it's a thing. If you look it up like online, if you search penguin dance, it's a thing. And it goes on for 8 minutes normally, by the way.
Oh God, I will really have to like get healthier than before next year. Maybe I do need to be more cultured. So thank you for telling me that. But yeah, and I love that because and I want to give a big shout out to Book Creator. They really helped us, especially David Hotler. Oh my gosh, put so much time and effort into creating that book for awards, which is so much better than just having like a spreadsheet with winners on it that we've had in the years past. And they really did bump I Did a Contest up levels. And I hope next year that we have even more young people just contributing. And I want to see more young people next year. We'll talk about like what we want to see more of at ASTE. But is there anything else that you guys want to talk about before we move on? Like anything, that really stood out to you about event-wise?
I always love the giveaways. No, they always love the giveaway section of it because, especially as a vendor, we ship these big, they're everywhere, big TVs up there on stands and everything like that. And getting them there is one thing, but actually, as a vendor, being able to give back to the community as well, and then trying to get them loaded in cars and getting them to classrooms, it's allowed us just to have a lot more connection and feel like we are giving something back to the actual students in the classroom. As well. And the two winners from this year had no interactive panels in their classroom at all. So it was a way that we could, allow students to keep on collaborating and learning. I did also love, sorry, it's our session, but the sketchnoting. I haven't really engaged in sketchnoting that much, but as I was seeing people's ideas and thoughts come out of their brains, where it wasn't a chalk and talk session or something like that, it was allowing people to really express themselves and just sketch note what they were thinking. And I think the sketch note of the keynote was wonderful as well, seeing like how Manuel could actually take his ideas and just put them on one page. And I think it was a really great recap, of what happened.
Yeah. And having you guys like right there in the exhibit hall, like it was pretty cool, right next to the stage. And Manuel, all of his sessions were highly attended. And one of my best friends was at every single one of his sessions on the weekend. And just, it kind of broke down the barriers. Even if you don't think that you're a great drawer or artist, you can still do a lot of sketchnoting. And I absolutely loved the keynote sketchnote that he did. So shout out to Manuel Herrera. He wanted to be here, but he couldn't. But yeah, I loved it. Anything else that you guys want to say before we move on? I totally want to respect your time, so let me know how that's going as well.
Just on the giveaway idea as well, like definitely keep doing that, because I think that's a way for the vendors to engage and connect and make meaningful connections happen between and share the great work that we're all doing. For me, in the past, I've attended conferences and we've given away things, and you come with the intention to share, but I feel everything that we gave away went and found a good home, and that's the most important part, regardless of the moose or like things like that, but even like the books and things like that, because I know that they'll be well used and loved, and that's what you want as a company, as a vendor, it follows your mission and vision where you want to go. And our main goal is to give every child a fair shot at success. And I think that's what we all want to do in education. That's why we're here. And so It was great. So keep doing that for sure.
Yeah, it was such a generous giveaway this year. Oh my gosh. And like our panels that you guys like Samsung gave away, and also that Promethean gave away from Konica Minolta. Like it was Anne, I think we were talking at dinner earlier this week, and I'm so used to this because this is like, I don't know how many ASTEs I've been to this year, but it's always been something, right? And so I just, how you get kind of blind to things because you see it over and over, but it really is so special that our ASTE attendees, our community members, can win these panels. It literally can update and just make your classroom experience magical. I mean, I hate that I can't win these. I'm like, hello, I'm like, I can't wait to go back as an attendee someday and just be like, yes, that's what I want in my classroom. How can I win that? I mean, it really does make such a difference. It was so like kind of extravagant. I don't know if this happens anywhere else. And the fact that we are a smaller community, like, and our exhibitors give away so much, it's so generous. I mean, Lou, you guys gave away a drone and like the meta glasses, right? Like that was crazy cool. Thank you for that. I want to give you some. Lou, are you there? Like, what did you think about? Yeah, I just want to say, what did you think about like also?
Yes. So I was happy to be able to give away the drone again because that was another moment in Alaska that I was able to understand the things that are happening in Alaska. Conversations that I had with a few of the teachers about just drones in general and how it's used across the country. You know, I would immediately think of something like real estate, you know, being able to look at homes, being able to look at commercial properties, or even just being able to create content. A lot of drones are being used for bike riders, runners, hikers, things like that. But to hear how drones are being used in Alaska for just looking for salmon activity or identifying the frozen rivers or search and rescue, you know, or just identifying moose activity, bear activity, things like that, it just amazes me on how, you know, you can be able to bless someone with a tool and a resource where they then can take this and support students within the classroom so that they can use it in their everyday lives. And so I'm thankful to be a part of ASTE, thankful for the opportunity with Savis to be able to do that. And I think that's what education is about. It's just about giving back and helping out. So thank you.
I love that. Awesome. All right, so we're getting closer. What do you guys want to see next year? What do you think some possible themes could be?
I'll go because I've been thinking about this a lot. Ann and I really just got back from Alaska yesterday. And since I've been back, I got in 7 a.m. and I've been meeting with my team ever since. But one of my biggest takeaways was if there's an opportunity to provide workshops for students led by students, I think it would be dope. I brought up in the chat, Olu giving away drones. We're doing a summer camp this summer here in New York City with drone soccer and cybersecurity for our student athletes. And I just thought, what does that look like for students in Alaska? What does it look like for students to not only come into a space where, yeah, there's educators, but they're separated and they're able to attend sessions that is led by people who are their ages, right? So if that's a possibility to have, even if it's like a pre-conference and all the exhibitors come and we just do different activities for students using whatever our products are, I think that would be awesome. And especially if it leads to digital certification. So that's my idea, y'all.
I was sitting in your session, Yaritza, when you were talking about the student athletes and the okay, help me with the word, the
digital portfolios.
Thank you. The portfolio. It's like, man, it's a P word, portfolio. When I was sitting in your session, I'm like, students should be in here right now learning about this, you know, and I would absolutely love to see more students coming in, learning. Olu and I were talking about like having like just all of the products that Savis does, just experiencing and watching educators use them, but also educators watch students use them, and like learning from our students in that aspect, I think would be amazing. So next year, our goal, I definitely want to bring more students. And I've tried to do this for the last 2 years. I want to get students that are like from King Tech or something that do cosmetology so that anybody that wants to get their makeup or hair done before prom can do that. I mean, you know, and we can pay students, you know, to do that kind of those services. I would absolutely love to see things like that. Linda, are you talking? Because I think you're muted. I still can't hear you. I have a, you want me to try to pull up your other one on stage? Maybe it's your sound.
Can
then
you
we can
hear me
hear
now?
you. We can hear you now.
Okay, I just wanted to piggyback on the idea of students. The very first year that I came to ASTE, my students presented with me, but it was virtually. And it was a great experience. And when I got ready to leave for this conference, they were like, so are you taking us with you? And I said, no, I can't, but hey, I'm going to work on it. And even if they present virtually again, just that experience for them to talk about robotics and how they started a robotics program in our school and what it meant to them and how they learned robotics. It's something that will never change in their minds. It's an experience that they can put on their portfolios for college that they had opportunity to present at ASTE and talk to professionals. And, kids like to tell adults that they know more. So that was a good thing for them too. So great experience. I would like to see some students present, and maybe we can get some on that plane and get down to Anchorage.
I think it's worth trying, and we have a whole year to make it happen, Linda. So we can. I mean, how incredible for your students to come here to Anchorage and experience the tundra. It would be awesome.
Just for me, Melody, I think I've really enjoyed having sessions that we've done it for a couple of years now, actually in the ballroom as well. I think some more sessions, because as vendors, we get a little bit shy sometimes, and you think you have to stand in your booth and do the whole booth bunny thing. But actually having sessions like in and around the ballroom, I think really, really helps us as vendors learn what's going on. And hearing different sessions as well, I think would be, great. A few more of those. And, everyone likes Star Wars. So I don't know, we've done like the ASTE Strikes Back. I know we did that, but, we've had a lot of fun at previous conferences with lightsabers. Just especially red or orange or red STS ones, and everyone can turn their lightsabers on at the same time.
Oh, wow.
It was a ton of fun that we had. But yeah, I think just more of what you're doing. I think it's just, again, that whole community thing and everyone coming together. We just need more of that. And vendors should definitely take the opportunity to come up and see what, ASTE is all about and what the Alaska culture is like.
For sure. Yeah, Sean, when you're talking, it makes me think, why couldn't we use that time in the exhibit hall just for, whoever wants to just lead a session right then and there. It doesn't always have to be super planned because it just brings people in. And I think something else is that, like, you don't have to go to every single session. You can spend time in the exhibit hall. When I go to conferences, my favorite part is going to the exhibit hall, especially when they're just like, it's so busy and they're so loud and so many things are happening. I would love to see more of that as well. And you guys did a really good job of utilizing that. Last year we did some panels. This year we didn't plan any panels, but I would love to see that come back as well. And just utilize, yes, the ballroom, the exhibit hall would be really special. So I'm in for that. Oh my gosh, Yaritza, please share your idea that you have in our chat.
Oh, I suggested a short fireside chat where each vendor presents about their product, but it has to align to a specific theme. So educators can vote on like 5 themes, and throughout the 3 days, vendors literally go up for 5 minutes and showcase their product and how it aligns. So if the theme is accessibility, then they had 5 minutes to pitch why their product should be used for that. I think that would be so cool.
Oh, that would be great. I love that. So Chris Sims or Evanson, she is a dedicated ASTE member. A shout out to her. And I think I might do another one of this and just have attendees come on and talk about their experience and give them a little time to get like back into their classrooms and maybe see how they're using everything that they've learned. I love that idea, Yaritza. And Chris, thank you so much for the shout out because we loved having you. I feel like you might have been a winner of some of the giveaways, some of the really good giveaways. So yeah, awesome. But yeah, the fireside chat, that's a great idea. And the lightsabers, I don't know, Sean, I think that predates me. I don't remember the lightsabers, but that does sound like a really good idea as well. Any possible themes? I have one more question before we go. And so if you guys on the panel, if you'll drop in the private chat, like how you want people to connect with you, then I'm going to like display that on the screen before we say goodbye. But what do you think some possible themes could be? Oh, that's why you said the Star Wars. You want to see Star Wars come back, Sean. That's your whole point. Got you. Okay. I like that. I'm thinking more of like, I like the remix idea. I would love to see more 80s, but that's just me. And then give out headbands to everybody.
Mel, I was just going to say, judging by some of the karaoke songs that were so popular, anything 80s or 90s definitely tracks with like a large population of educators, the songs, something like that.
You know, it's so funny because I do have the 80s theme in my classroom, but my students really, they did not know what cassette tape. Their parents are mostly younger than me. So cassette tapes are like, you know, like the Loch Ness monsters and like just a myth, you know, they've heard about it, but you know, they've never seen them. So I love that idea. We could do something really cool about that. But yeah, does anybody have anything more they want to share before I move on?
I just want to encourage folks, if you've heard of ASTE, if you have heard of, hey, there's some really cool stuff happening up in Alaska in education, check it out if you can. Get connected. I know you have a great Facebook page. You're doing live streams all the time, but people don't know what they don't know. So thank you for what you're doing as an organization, not only to support and empower educators across Alaska, but truly across the country and globally, just because this is a conversation that starts and keeps going and keeps evolving as education keeps changing and conversations keep happening. So thank you, Melody, to you and the team, the board. But y'all check it out. There's great stuff happening, and definitely keep ASTE on your radar because it's one you would love to be a part of if you have the opportunity.
I love that. And we want to be a part of the global ed tech. You know, there's so much, you know, Linda's coming from Georgia, but like there's so much that we want to share and learn from others all over the country and the world. Thank you, Anne, for that, because really please come. Like it's not just for Alaskan educators, it's for us to learn from all over the place. So I love that. Thank you, Anne, for saying that. All right. And next, how would you like us to connect with you all now that ASTE is over?
I mean, for me, I mean, the main way to connect is, you know, if I share a message to you, if I reach out, if we had that conversation, connect with me on LinkedIn. You know, at spriglearning.com, mark.catroci at spriglearning.com can reach out there. It's a complicated last name, but, you know, if you start typing, you'll eventually get it. And it's just, I think, you know, kind of my last thoughts on the whole experience were just, again, how welcoming it was. And, you know, us as a first-time vendor for ASTE, taking that chance and believing that it's going to be a great experience, and then seeing it was better than I ever thought imaginable. So that's what, you know, those are the stories we want to take back to the rest of our team, and the good news stories. And, you know, just for example, like Underlay, like traveling across Alaska, like that kind of thing. These are the stories that, you know, students need and teachers need, and that we need as a team to keep us moving forward on those difficult days when things, you know, don't make sense, because sometimes it doesn't make sense. But, you know, and connecting with all of you again, like this is what, you know, I think is the most important, is keeping these relationships alive and building a true community, and that I found at ASTE. So thanks everyone.
Thanks, Mark. That's awesome. Does anybody else want to share?
Yeah, I don't mind going. I think, you know, especially being in a sales perspective, one of our mantras at STS Education is we're not actually here to sell you anything unless you need it. So I think to jump on a conversation with us and see how we can connect about, you know, what issues are you facing, or, you know, what's the dream for your technology in your school, for the furniture in your school, for your network. We've got a very specialized and dedicated set of people that are ready to help you with this. And I just want to give a big shout out to the people that were at the conference. We've already had free connections and already have a meeting tomorrow, just to kind of go through their technology plans, see where they're at as well. So don't be shy. As I said, we're not necessarily here to sell you anything. We just want to find ways in which we can help out and ultimately, you know, change the lives of students in classrooms. So it's great to connect with us, see what's going on, see all the places that we are in the world. The STS website is an easy place to go to, but it's just as easy to reach out to me as well, and I can get you scheduled with one of my team members.
I love that. Thank you, Sean.
I'll jump on after Sean. But yeah, you can definitely connect with me on LinkedIn, Olu Equison, or also my email, olu.equason@savvis.com. And if you ever want to just kind of take some time to look at all of the different products and things that Savvis provides, savvislearning.com is our website. And so, again, I just want to say thank you, Melody. Thank you, Anthony. And thank you, team, for everybody that's on the call. I had a great time, and I can't wait until I go back to Alaska to attend ASTE.
Awesome. Me too. I can't wait till next year. Although there's so much work to do, but still, it feels like, whew, yeah, it was amazing. Thank you, Olu.
If you all want to get in contact with me or connect with me, here's my email, yaritza@mckinseysadventures.com, and my Instagram. With my Instagram, I'm constantly promoting new projects and new partnerships that we have coming up. So if you need any ideas for the classroom, that's your one-stop shop. But if you have any questions about, some feedback for a project, especially project-based learning or some tech that you should leverage, you could definitely send me an email.
Thank you. And I want to feature McKinsey's Adventures on our website as well to have, as a partner for pretty much everything. Yeah. Don't be shy, Ann and Linda.
I'll just jump in and share. I'm at Ann Kozma723 across all the socials. I popped up my email address too if anybody was in a session and you have questions. I'd love to say, and I learned this from John Carippo, who was up, there with Edu Protocols and Jacob Carr. Like, he says he's tech support for life, and that was something I learned from him. But the conversations that start today do not end today. So reach out if we can help in any way. So thanks again, Mel, to you and the entire ASTE board for putting on a phenomenal event. It was such an honor to be a part of it. And I'm ready for the next one.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah. And I love that Edu Protocols was there. Shout out to both John and Jake. They did an amazing job. They stayed in Alaska for like the entire week, and they went to middle schools in Wasilla. It was pretty exciting. We'll have to have them back on as well. All right, Linda, let's hear from you. How do we stay in touch with you?
Okay. Oh, I sent my email out for the school district. That's the best way to get in contact with me, Linda_R_Stewart@DeKalbSchoolsGA.org. I would love to try to get a collaboration between a teacher in our school and a teacher in Alaska so that the kids can do some collaboration together. And we are a K-8 performing arts school. And there also were several people who were interested in collaborating with Miss Powell. And so if you didn't get her email, you could email me and I could pass that along. I'm quite sure she would be willing to collaborate with her students on how she did her STEM fair at her school.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you to everybody who viewed this live or after we ended our live stream. We could not do this without any of you. You are what make this so important. And thank you to everybody who joined today. We appreciate the time that it took for you to be on, especially if you were having brunch and you decided to jump on too. But I'm going to go to brunch pretty soon. But thank you all so much. We hope to have more of these. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear about how you're putting into practice all the things that you learned from ASTE and that you took away. But thank you again, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody.